No.
We're playing for hot, fresh, wet, stinky cash.
Wetter, funner, sloppier.
Funny, funkier.
Funner, wetter.
Attaboy. All right, the date.
Oh, you got Popeyes?
The date is October 26th, the year of our Lord 2021. Sneaking right into November. This weekend, what does PPW have? I'll tell you what PPW has. I'm going to go ahead and entitle this one Tag Team Wrestling Matters. Casey. Tag Team Wrestling Matters. And we're going to keep doing what I've been doing since I was a young man. And that's hitting them where they ain't. Is there tag team wrestling today? Oh, hell yes. However, it hasn't been the focus for wrestling companies for a long time. And I'll tell you, and I've said it before in past podcasts over and over again, if done right, people love it. And the proof is in the pudding here every Saturday night. So I'm thinking about calling it, not a big deal or anything like that, but I think that it has to have some sort of title. Today's pop culture needs a why, who, what, when, where, why. And what I'd like to say about Saturday is, I'd like to call it basically Tag Team Wrestling Matters.
Well, speaking of tag team wrestling, yes, it's still alive.
I just went through all that.
Today, 670, Lawrence Holmes does noon to 2. And out of the blue, he did his top 5.
Wait, man.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is that? Remember? Who, what, when, where, why? Holmes.
Score, Lawrence Holmes, 670.
Now, we're in Chicago. The Score is, I would say, the top AM sports channel, sports talk channel.
Most people, well, in our area, probably listen to it if you're a sports fan. Anyways, he did his top, out of the blue. He's a wrestling fan, but he never really, they got to talk about Chicago sports. But he took about 10, 15 minutes and gave his top 5 tag teams and his favorite top 5 tag teams of all time. I thought that was
kind of cool. Who are they?
It was Harlem Heat. Harlem Heat. Heart Foundation.
Nice.
New Age Outlaws.
That was okay.
Who else? Who is this? Oh, I can't think now.
Well, the
Legion of Doom, Road Warriors, of course.
Yeah.
I forget who his number 1 was. I don't think I caught that one.
The Bushwhackers.
Yeah.
No.
Well, obviously, he's WWF heavy. He must have watched that when he was a kid. My top 5, number 1 on top of my Mount Rushmore is the Midnight Express. Loverboy Dennis, Beautiful Bobby with James E. Cornette. Best heel tag team. That's really compelling.
Who else? Motherfucker, you said 1 tag team. Is you gonna do 5? You just
That's
say
all
1.
5. They're that good. No, I would probably put Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express.
Shamalama, lama, lama, rock and roll is king.
Yep. Those are, after that, it depends on what you're scoring, drawing, wrestling. As far as drawing, you have to put the Road Warriors in there.
Well, okay, anything else? Anyone else? You're at 3.
Oh, top 5? I don't want to snub anybody. I don't want to snub anyone.
Anyway, all right. So since I
stick with that.
I would judge it by gate attendance.
Me too. That's what I determine a good worker.
And if you're
draws
going
the most money, that's the best worker.
And if you're going by gates, and sadly today's fan doesn't have any fucking clue because it's not fucking out there anywhere. Maybe in the annals you can find some from old results.
Rock and Roll Express might be second.
The Valiant Brothers, baby. Yeah. Luscious Johnny and Handsome Jimmy probably sold and drew more money than all the tag teams you've mentioned. Even back in the day when the tickets were cheap.
Rock and Roll Express, and when they brought them into Crockett, They broke all the attendance records in 50 years in the Crockett territory for Greensboro, Charlotte, Atlanta. That's insane. I mean, I'm just saying, they were so fucking wildly over that. Oh, and let's not forget about the Fabs. I'll throw the Fabs
Fabulous
in there.
ones, yeah.
Fabs, Midnight Express. And if you notice, this is mostly 80s teams, but that's, I think, when tag team wrestling was probably at its highest, was in that late 80s.
Again, you know this, like you're going by what's available on video, man. You should have seen the shit. You should have seen, like, I've seen some of it. I remember seeing the Valiant Bros fucking do the dance with Bruiser and Crusher, and that shit was compelling.
Bruiser and Crusher's another
with
one.
Bobby Heenan as their manager. Yep. Outstanding shit.
Texas Outlaws.
But anyway, like I was saying, I mean, I wish we had video coverage, video footage of that. I don't know how many times they sold out the Mid-South Coliseum on top. Yeah. You know, how many weeks in a row. And we're talking about, dude, Monday nights.
The
Monday
Fabs,
nights. Yeah. No, the Valiant Bros. The Fabs did great, but the Valiant Bros were the hottest heel tag team, you know, managed by several, but their pinnacle, they drew so much money for Vince Sr. with Captain Lou as their manager.
You mean Madison Square Garden, not Mid-South.
Well, the Madison Square Garden.
Right.
No, they did Madison Square Garden when they were managed by Lou Albano. And then they did, I don't think they were managed by anybody when they worked down in the Mid-South. You know? But they were outstanding, man. Mm-hmm. They were just outstanding, you know? Well, that's what I go by too, but also, like you said, when it comes to work, there ain't nobody better than Ricky and Robert.
Yeah, babyface team, probably not. I mean, and I really like as far as WWF, I mean, maybe not drawing, but work-wise, I mean, the Rockers.
Yeah, they were
Marty and Sean, even Brett and the Anvil, Jim Neidhart,
yeah.
Very good. The Killer Bees.
Oh, dude, they got cut off at the knees during their big push.
Yeah,
you know,
very good babyface team.
You know why they got? You know why they cut them off at the knees, don't you?
No, why?
Because Jim Brunzell and Jesse Ventura were behind organizing the wrestlers.
Yeah, I didn't know Jim Brunzell was in on that.
Oh yeah, Jim was as much behind it as Jesse, but Jim is more of a lowbrow individual. Mm-hmm. He really got over because of his work, but he really has a sense of right and wrong and wanted the boys to not be in the positions they were in when they retired, you know. But as a result, you know, Vince cut that Killer Bee stuff up, which is outstanding. That's something that's never been done before then, hasn't been done since, the way the Bees worked, you know. But anyway, yeah, that was outstanding shit. So what do we do? So let me ask you this question. What does the term 6'4" to 3" mean? That's a double play in baseball.
Yeah, that's one of the combinations.
Why is it called 6'4" to 3"?
Because the positions are numbered.
Who's 6?
Let me think.
Shortstop?
First is 6'4". What was it? 6'4"2"?
Is it
6'4" 3"? So the catcher is, I believe, 1.
Okay.
Pitcher 2. First baseman 3. Shortstop 4. Second baseman 5. Third baseman 6.
Okay, so 6'4", and then not the number 2.
6'4" 3" would be
6'4", and
third,
then 2 3 is finishing the
third
sentence.
to short to first.
So let's play 6'4", 2 3 in your lineage when it comes to the thought process and booking of Premier Pro Wrestling, but also the training and also your personal work. What's your lineage, and how would you know more than most people about Ricky and Robert?
Oh, well, I mean, I've worked both. Well, I've worked Ricky. I've worked Ricky Morton.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, in singles. I worked him.
Where'd you work fucking Ricky?
Bert.
Fuck.
Down
Where
in
at?
Alabama.
Dothan or Birmingham?
Muscle Shoals.
By Birmingham. Mm-hmm. How did it draw? Did the people give a fuck?
Good. Pretty good.
How was it done? Now, Bert Prentice just died. Blah, blah, blah. We'll talk about Bert forever and a day. But he had television on the UPN affiliate when people still watched UPN. They probably still do. Out of the Birmingham market, Muscle Shoals was one of those towns. How did they do it? Did Ricky come in and do some promos, vignettes, or did he phone them in and, shoot them and all that?
I think he came into Nashville and shot him at the studio, and then we aired him.
How'd you get along with him on a personal level?
Good. I mean, I only worked him a couple of times, so...
How was the match?
Good. I mean, you're working Ricky Morton. I mean, I think, he didn't know me eventually, I worked Lawler and Dusty a lot, so I didn't have the cookie cutter match with them after I worked them a few times. Then we would freelance. I think I was working Ricky's kind of, because he had to protect himself.
How old was he? He had to be 40 years old, in his 40s?
Yeah, late 40s probably.
Yeah. Did he still throw a drop kick?
Yeah. A lot of those old timers, they have their match to protect themselves. You get booked with these indie tards, you don't know who you're getting put with. So I think I got probably his cookie cutter match, but Ricky was really good to work, of course. Yeah,
that was great, man. Good shit. Mm-hmm. And then Robert, you and Robert bumped dickheads at OVW.
WWE brought him in as a trainer, and me and Robert, became friends outside of the ring. Yeah. And, I just got to know him with his time in OVW. I traveled with him a little bit because he was still working independents, and I would run the roads with him when he had have independent shots. I'd travel with Robert.
So again, how many companies can say that? How many trainers can say that today?
I worked out in the ring with Robert.
Oh yeah.
Robert's great. I love Robert's one of the nicest guys, probably one of the nicest guys I've ever met in this business. Robert,
you're not the only one that says
anybody that would come up to Robert, a kid, even if they didn't know who he was, obviously they weren't around when he was on top, he would take the time to talk to him, sign stuff. Wow. Robert's a class act.
A lot of people say that, man, about both of those guys. I want to ask you a question. A lot of tag teams had friction. Johnny and Jimmy had friction, but they fucking worked together. Once they got in that ring, it was fucking nothing, But they didn't fight. They were both more mentally and emotionally mature and said, we got to make money together, so we're getting along. Marty and Sean broke it off of Marty's ass. That's the bottom line. There was always friction. I've never heard of any friction between Ricky and Robert.
I think after they stopped teaming, I think later in life they had a little bit of friction. I don't know what over, and don't quote me on that because I'm not sure. But I think, as far as when they were on top, no.
Yeah. Sadly, Vince never gave them that push in their prime. When they were on their downstroke of their prime, he decided to fuck with Sean and Marty for what I believe is because Pat wanted to blow Sean. And Ricky and Robert weren't what the Pat Pattersons of the industry were looking for, But I'll tell you, man, he could have drawn a shitload of money for the last 3 to 5 years of their careers, and Sean would have been even better as a singles performer. Sean was fucking good, no doubt about it. He's better than I am, but he learned a lot from guys, i.e. Marty and Rose and Summers. But imagine him working 3 years with Ricky and Robert off and on, the way he absorbed it and the way he would take something and make it his. Yeah. It would have just made the whole industry better.
When Crockett brought Ricky and Robert in, this must have been about 85.
Yeah.
They went from Watts to I think they went from Watts to Crockett. They took a page out of Memphis, and they didn't just bring the rock and roll in, do get over matches. They shot video. They aired videos of them.
Yeah.
Music video packages.
Oh, those are the best.
For, 6 weeks before they came in.
We're eventually going to get to that point, and we're going to make them, we're going to make them. Hang on, let me just say this before you move on, because I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss the opportunity. But we're going to bring them up to date. And if you guys ever seen any of those old video packages, those were the shit. Yeah. But if you take those and those territories were built upon those, but if you take those and put them up today's pop culture, they're going to just be outstanding. And we're getting there slowly but surely. But go ahead now.
Oh no, I'm just saying that. And when they came in, their first night in, they worked the Russians. It was Koloff and
Barry Darso, Crusher Khrushchev. Yeah.
They worked almost an hour on television. They went 58 minutes. They put Ricky and Robert over, and after that they didn't look back. They broke every attendance record, all the big buildings that Crockett had, and the NWA after that. They were on the B towns. The A towns was Flair and Dusty. The B towns was the Russians versus Ricky and Robert, and they were
beating the A towns.
Them. And Dusty's like, nobody sells out Greensboro without the dream on top. So the next time around, it was 6 mans with Dusty and Ricky and Robert.
Let me ask out of curiosity, Did you and Dusty ever discuss the Rockers to any extent? I mean, the Rock and Roll Express?
No, I don't think it ever came up, no.
Don't you wish you could have?
Sure,
Yeah.
but I kind of knew.
Ole
He's gonna
brought
put
him in.
over
You know,
this
Ole
thing.
brought him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was another big. I mean, obviously they did big business with Ole. That's a
Yeah.
great story too. I'm sure everyone has heard it, maybe in these shoot interviews. But Ricky, you know, Ole had a hard time selling for a guy like Ricky Morton and Robert.
Couldn't justify it.
And-
If he could whoop your ass, he wouldn't sell
Yeah,
for you.
But they were so fucking over and drawing money.
Yeah.
Finally, you know, they got heat. They made Ricky. Robert makes a comeback. Ricky gets in the ring. He's beating the shit out of Ole. He's nailing him. He won't go down. Ricky takes 2 steps back, takes a bump in the ring, and fucking, you know, Ole's like, why the hell did you do that? He's like, well, I thought someone should take a bump. And after that, Ole's like, man, these are ballsy son of a bitch.
How old was he?
Who?
Fucking
Well,
Ricky.
This was mid-'80s for
How
Crockett.
old do you think he was?
I don't know, in his 20s?
How smart was that?
Yeah, he goes, well, shit, I